So the books of tafsir were authored after the earlier ways of tafsir and after some of the reports that were carried by word of mouth. We started to have probably in the 2nd century after the Hijrah, when people started to write and author books in different areas of knowledge. So now we speak about the books of tafsir that are known today and they're available in different fields of knowledge. When we talk about some of the books of tafsir, we first address the books of tafsir, which is tafsir bil al-mathur. So there's two kinds of tafsir books. So we have two kinds of books that are authored. So they're either tafsir bi al-mathur, which is what was reported by the glorious Quran itself, or by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, by the sayings and reports of the companions, or by the tabi'een. We have tafsir ibn al-Ray, which is to interpret the glorious Quran with one's opinions and sayings. When we come to the second one, some it is praised and some it isn't, and it is actually rejected because it is based on the deviation by some of the authors through history. So the famous books, in Bi al-Mathur, this cause Jami al-Bayan, Tafsir ibn Abi Jarir ibn Tabari, Tafsir al-Quran by al-Karim by Imam ibn Kathir, al-Dur al-Manthur, and Tafsir al-Baghawi by Tanzil al-Jami al-Aqam al-Quran by al-Qurtubi, and Fath al-Qadir by Muhammad Ali al-Shawqani. But we need to look and study these books and understand, are these the right books? So and for studies, that's what I'm going to go through. So Jamia ul-Bayan, so Tahwil and Tafsir, and we said that Tahwil and Tafsir are the same in the first video. Tahwil, some scholars use the word meaning to put your own opinion. Imam Ibn Jarir, who is the author and Sheikh of Al-Mufassirin, he is the head of the Mufassirin, great leader of the Mufassirin, who died in 310 of the Hijrah. He lived in the 2nd century, and he's the one who authored in the earlier times this great books. It's a very big book authored al-Imam Ibn Tabari. His full name is Abu Ja'far Muhammad Ibn Jarir al-Tabari. He actually did his own tafsir by al-Mahthur, and is one of the greatest books of tafsir. All the Mufassirin who came after him and actually went back to him reported much of what he said in his own books, and some of them increased and added certain things. So Imam Ibn Jarir addressed tafsir and depended upon what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and what the companions said, and what the tabi'een and the tabi'een said, the 3rd generation, what they said regarding certain ayahs. He depended on the first 2 centuries after Prophet Muhammad, the century of the Prophet, the century of the tabi'een, and then the tabi'een. So Imam Ibn Taymiyyah actually praised Ibn Jarir. He said Al-Imam Ibn Taymiyyah was really praising Al-Imam Ibn Jarir Ibn Tabri, who said in a famous statement for him, he said regarding the tafsir that are in the hands of people today, the most authentic of that is Ibn Jarir Ibn Tabri's. He is the one who is the most authentic and correct. He would bring the sayings of the Salaf with a strong and correct chain of narration. There's no bid'ah, there's no innovations. Whatever Imam Ibn Jarir was saying, and he would not take from anything that was not authentic, and they're not being accused of lying and not being accurate, and they have a good and sound mind and memorization in order to exactly understand and report the true sayings based on what they carried from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, companions, and the tabi'een. There's a remark regarding Ibn Jarir Ibn Tabri did. He used to take some of the reports, we call it the Israelites, which is the reports from the books of Jews. Israelites, which is the reports from the books of Jews. He actually was reported some of what the Jewish who used to be following Judaism at the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and after, who were not Muslims, and then they became Muslims, and they had their own knowledge from the Torah and the Injil. So, Jami al-Bayan fil Tahwil al-Quran, this is by At-Tabari, and Ibn Jarir was reporting so much of that, and he didn't even try to authenticate these reports. So that is one of the remarks regarding the book of Tabari, but it was, in general, it was a good one, but this is something to watch out for. This is why one has to be careful regarding these reports, because in general terms, when the Quran addresses the earlier generations before Islam, like the people of Noah, Ad, and Thamud, they were given in very short statements and not many explanations. In order to get more of it, the Mufassirin resorted to reporting from the books of Jewish people, and that's why it's called the Israelites reports, and of course some of the fabricated reports created in the book. So that's why it's really important that you have a scholar or someone that's going to be able to assist you in studying these books, because you at yourself, you will not be able to use your intellect, you won't be able to use your mind effectively, and to be able to understand as a beginner student of knowledge what is right information and what could be reports from the actual Jewish people. And Tafsir ibn Quran al-Azim ibn Kathir, he died in the year 774 of Hijrah. This Tafsir is a very famous of what has been written regarding al-Mathur, very, very authentic, and it comes in the second stage after Ibn Jarir ibn Tabari. Ibn Kathir was very careful regarding the riwayat from the Mufassirin of the Salaf, the earlier generations of the Sahaba, the Tabi'in and the Tabi'in, Tabi'in. When Ibn Kathir would come to a place where a report by the Israelites, he would actually criticize it and give critique of their own chain of narration and even the text itself, and he would warn in general against these reports, and he would warn in details regarding these particular reports. Ibn Jarir and Ibn Kathir's books are good. However, Ibn Kathir's book was given more attention and was published and translated into the English language, and it's been translated into other languages in some of the publishing houses. Subhanallah. I'm going to leave you here. There's still more books to talk about and things to study in relation to tafsir, which I am going to be covering in the next video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.